feel very, very bigger than me. I think when you realize that giving uh,
I'm
actually feels
back.
better than receiving, that's when you start wanting to do your part and contribute. So, voting is an easy way to give. You know.
Yeah. To whom much is given, much is required, and you have been given a huge platform, and we are so grateful for you, Russ. Philanthropist, artist, community activist, first time voter. We appreciate you for doing
Yes.
this, okay?
Your bird is
Thank you. I
kind
appreciate y'all.
of the bird. Hey,
Yeah, la la.
So, cities like Atlanta and
I
Chicago
thought we're
have been at the
done.
forefront of the discussions, especially now in this country when we're talking about COVID 19 and systemic racism as well as police brutality and
The
what we can do in this
bird.
country. Again, we're continuing our conversation, letting you know that your voice is your vote and your vote is your voice. We can change where we are in this country. Currently, I'd like to welcome in Chicago Cubs right fielder Jason Hayward. I appreciate you. I brought in Atlanta and Chicago because I know you grew up in the metropolitan area of Atlanta, more specifically McDonough. Let's be technical, and and you have been very vocal throughout this entire time
Ew.
in terms of what our country's been experiencing. Let's look at the past month and a half, if you will. What has been the hardest thing for you to deal with?
The hardest thing for me to deal with, Carrie, this last month has just been going from the virus shutting everything down to us being called to action. We've had multiple police brutality situations. We've had people protesting, wanting to get the message
I
out.
want to get
But I
into
really realized that I need to
nighttime.
be a part of the positive message and make sure that doesn't get lost in all the chaos going on for people to actually hear from a reasonable, respectable person who cares
Uh-oh.
about everyone involved.
A reasonable, respectable person who cares about everyone involved, which leads us to more than a vote. It is a beautiful collective of Black athletes and artists.
No, I'm
You
trying
are
to
a
get.
part of that. Talk to me about why that's important for you right now. And this be a part of that collective.
To me personally, it's important to be a part of that because
Ew.
I've somewhat used baseball and my craft as an excuse to not get more involved in voting. But I can't any longer use baseball and work as an excuse not to get educated and not also to show people like at any moment in time, any walk of life, we
I'm
can make a difference.
blocking.
So tell me in your words, what does activism look like for you?
In my words, it looks like LeBron James, the biggest athlete right now on the planet, speaking up and breaking the ice for everyone. But I think for the first time, people see and hear from us. So now we have white teammates, we have other people
I'm
speaking up and
blocking
realizing, okay,
him.
like this is how we go about doing this. And to me, right now, social media, athletes speaking up, entertainers speaking up, like we're trying to do with more than a vote.
You said something I thought was so key because covering sports for so long, I know that it's tough for Black players specifically in Major League
It's
Baseball to
getting
talk about how they
nighttime.
feel. Adam Jones did it in a very eloquent way early on, but there are very few that are vocal. You said you all were afraid. Why use that word and why were you afraid?
You was afraid because in 2019 there were 68 of us
Is she
total,
gonna
and in
cry?
38 teams there's 25-man roster on each team. There's a 40-man roster, which is on each team as well, and there aren't many of us. So we're outnumbered in that sense, but not always in a negative way when it comes to our teammates and our clubhouses. But to get to this point, you have to move a certain way. You got to be careful what you say. You can't ruffle feathers. You can't come off in any way.
Wait,
Much like
he got into
other Black entertainers,
basketball?
much like you
Whoa.
yourself, probably having to live through life every day. But to get to the highest level, you got to button up. You got to be seen and not
Go
heard. So
swimming.
baseball is,
Mm.
like I said, it was time for us to try and speak up and make a
If I
difference
actually did that,
and
I'll
show it's
be
okay
really
to do
mad, and
something.
I
We
gotta go
can't be
back
quiet any longer.
all the way up there.
That is a button up, be quiet, be seen but not heard. That
That was
is a
mean.
an expression that a lot of Black folks can relate to in whatever aspect of professionalism that they experience, especially if they don't work for themselves. They just feel that. That is also a socialization that we have as Black folks, well, especially like you
Oh.
said, if you want to get to the higher level. And for so long, I felt it bubbling right underneath the surface that so many of us who were
Uh-oh,
in whatever
someone's
positions we were, who
blocking.
had platforms, were tired of pretending and looking the other way and spending so much time making others comfortable while we were uncomfortable. Do you feel that this is the type
Coronavirus.
of movement that is sustainable, or is it just for a time?
it takes everyone joining in on the conversation. And right now, I feel like more than ever, there is little things as possible to distract from bigger issues. We
Like, you
saw on
still,
draft
dude, I
day,
gotta
we
see what's
saw
in
our
you.
president Theo Epstein holding up the sign saying Black Lives Matter and wanting to
Yeah,
include the rest
yeah.
of MLB in that. But now we're having those conversations as well. So I definitely think this is sustainable. And it's not always just going to be the popular thing to do. This is something that people want to get right because they know we care.
Jason, you said you think it's sustainable, that what you're seeing, especially with your
Wait, let
colleagues
me
in
see it in your
baseball, that this
mask.
can be something where you're feeling more comfortable, feeling more safe to share how you feel about social
Just
injustice
stop
and
moving, dude. Stop
police
moving.
brutality. What are you doing right now in this moment with your
You're stupid.
platform to help change how we look at voting and how to educate the culture and the community about voting?
Well, first, what I'm doing, Carrie, is joining up with More Than a Vote and joining up with other athletes and entertainers to get that message out and use our platform in that sense as a group. And try to create a brand with this to make it something that's not just about the election coming, make sure that it's about people getting educated for years to come and figure out where to vote and how to vote. We've got people in different areas that cover different demographics and influence different areas of people. And as a baseball player, as a Black baseball player, I feel like now, like we talked about, it's